You've got 10 seconds. The countdown going on right now. Morrow up to Schultz. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Welcome back to Cocktails and Classics. I'm Dylan. Joining me as always are Ben and Zach.
Hi.
And continuing on with our March Madness, we're getting into a classic sports movie that these two boys love. Miracle.
Uh-oh. Not the three of us love. These two guys love.
I haven't really seen this movie all the way through before. To kick things off and get everybody in the right mood, we're going to go to this week's cocktail. The Miracle on Ice. Hey, you see what we did there?
Uh-oh.
Nah, there was Ryan Reynolds released a nice little aviation vodka, or he does gin, sorry, aviation gin video like 2 weeks ago, celebrating the Miracle on Ice anniversary, and had this cocktail made. It's 2 parts aviation gin, 1 part cold brew, and 1 part oat milk. I guess they say aviation's made with less juniper, so you're not gonna have that very herbal taste. It's closer to vodka, I guess they say. I don't have that, so I used some nice Beefeater gin, and it tastes like a White Russian with juniper. I don't know. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's still good, but it does have that like piney kind of taste to it.
Yeah, mine does too. I had to Randall it because I don't keep milk or oat milk or any sort of anything like that in the house. The only thing that I keep in my house like that is bourbon cream.
That's your only dairy product, eh?
So I did 2 parts gin, 2 parts coffee, and then 1 part bourbon cream because I was not going to be able to do 3 parts alcohol to 1 part coffee. It was too much. It's good. I actually like it. I would probably drink it again. I also didn't have aviation, so it does have a little bit more of a juniper berry taste to it, but kind of that piney.
But it's not bad though. Like
No,
I'm not
honestly, I kind of dig it
by the gin. Yeah. I might actually do this instead of vodka because I don't typically keep vodka in the house. So
no, I would do that with the gin. I like that. That's good.
Did you guys know that there's one creature on this planet that drinks milk as an adult?
Yes, it's humans.
Humans?
That's fucking weird. You guys
think
need to stop drinking milk.
I think we're also the only species that drinks milk of another animal.
I don't drink milk. I drink oat milk. So.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think they nailed it with almond milk. Oat milk is just everything I've had oat milk, and granted it's mostly coffee drinks, it's got like a real powdery type of mouthfeel to it.
What kind of oat milk are you getting?
Powdered.
I don't know, whatever they're serving.
The kind
like
that's in a powder.
Good oat milk. Oh, I think oat milk is one. It's having its day right now, but 2, I think it's far superior to almond and soy milk. Check the show notes below. Get yourself some aviation gin at the link below. Hit up the Drizzle and Casker links. Get it delivered directly to your door, and make yourself a Miracle on Ice. And you can check out the movie Miracle on Disney Plus as of recording.
I don't think they're gonna take it off. It's a Disney movie. They're not taking that bad boy off of there.
I was gonna say I don't know how like Disney Plus like rotation works, but I feel like they don't have enough like content to really be like, hey, we're gonna take this movie off.
In 2028, this thing is gonna go into the vault, and then in 2029, it'll get released as the 25th anniversary edition. It'll be like $50.
I mean, realistically, you look at like the Disney Plus like sports section, and it's like this, Remember the Titans, and Cool Runnings, and like that's the headliner for the sports section. Otherwise, it's movies that are either Disney Channel originals or like movies from 1990 that went like straight to VHS.
I was gonna say, what about Coach Carter? Is that not a Disney movie?
I don't think so.
I don't think it is. There is like Glory
it's
Road
Paramount.
though. Glory Road, I think, is Disney. There might be another one, but there's not a lot. Oh, there's Invincible too. Look, if it's a feel good sports movie that seems like it's been glorified to be like way better than it probably was, it's a Disney movie.
So this list
Shots
says
at Rudy.
Cool Runnings, The Rookie, Angels in the Outfield, Gus, Secretariat, The Mighty Ducks, Invincible, Miracle, Remember the Titans. Those are all Disney movies. All the like feel good, like underdog stories. Miracle is a 2004 sports drama film based on the Miracle on Ice from the 1980 U.S. Olympic men's hockey team. It's the true story of Herb Brooks, the player turned coach who led that team to victory over the seemingly invincible Soviet squad. Directed by Gavin O'Connor, written by Eric Guggenheim. It stars Kurt Russell, Patricia Clarkson, Nathan West, Kenneth Welsh is in there, Noah Emmerich. Were the hockey players, were they actually hockey players or were they like actors?
Yeah, they were hockey players and then taught how to act.
Because I was like, I didn't know if they like had like a whole stunt squad that would do the hockey bit, and then they would.
Nope, 200 people showed up to get casted into Miracle, and they picked the best 20, and they were all hockey players.
So it's like the real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only person who was like an actor, but he also played hockey was Eddie Cahill, who plays Jim Craig in the movie.
Okay.
Currently sits at a 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb. I hadn't seen this film. I know you two had. I've
Yes, sir.
I swear I've seen bits and pieces of this movie. I don't think I've seen it all the way through. And I definitely didn't remember that they only beat Russia for third place. Like I always thought it was the gold medal game. And it was like this big thing.
Oh.
Because
they had to beat Russia to get to the gold medal game, yeah.
Yeah, because like the actual like call which they use in the movie, like do you believe in miracles is such an iconic like sports moment.
Oh yeah,
and
no, I mean that's
probably the most iconic sports call of all time.
What's crazy to me is the fact that Al Michaels was not like when you think
who he is today
nowadays of Al Michaels, you're like, yeah, it would make sense they'd give him like this Olympic, whatever, this giant Olympic game, yada yada, and it's like no, he was only given it because he had called hockey games before. And then he made this call, and then it was like, "Oh, Al Michaels, you should come do Sunday Night Football with John Madden, and you should do this, and you should be the voice of this." And it's just crazy to think that, like, before that moment, that one, like, 2 seconds, he was almost like a nobody.
I'd almost forgotten it was Al Michaels. Like until he was like him announcing the games, I was like, "Oh shit, he called that."
I did love the fact that they
had him like record a new one,
and then when it got to the final, they just like played the old. I thought that was such a cool transition.
That's so good.
Yeah, because like the audio like slowly gets like worse to like the 80s version.
But I thought it was kind of cool, like the way that they kind of did like they kind of transitioned to showing it like on the screen, like on the TV, to kind of let it be the old call. I thought that was a neat way to kind of transition it, and then they just kind of let it go from there. But
yeah, I think nowadays, or at least like the modern thing with that is like you transition, like you match frame of whatever the event is, and then you transition into the old footage of the event.
Yeah.
I think that is like the more modern thing that I've seen a couple times when they do these like historical sports dramas. But I think the audio is like a really cool aspect.
I love when they do stuff like that in movies.
Yeah, it kind of like brings you back. You're like, oh yeah, this actually happened. Like this was a decent movie, and oh yeah, this is like reality is stranger than fiction sometimes, or like that's the thing people love about sports. Like they're always Hollywood endings all the time.
Because it's rigged.
But looking,
you heard it here first.
Looking at these greatest sports calls of all time, the very, very reliable New York Post has Miracle at number 1 on this list.
Hell yeah.
I'd say Miracle 1.
Yahoo Sports article also has Miracle on Ice.
I'd say that's probably 1. And the only iconic sports call I can think of is like the Down Goes Frazier.
That was on,
Like-
I think, the New York Post list.
That one's got to be on there.
Kirk Gibson's home run in Game 1 of the World Series is another famous one by Vin Scully.
Yeah.
Let's see. This one has the Giants win the pennant by Russ Hodges in 1951. Never seen that
The
one.
Giants
Down
win the
Go
pennant.
Frazier.
The Giants win the pennant.
I Don't Believe What I Just Saw by Jack Buck. The Bill Buckner Between the Legs.
I feel like that. I don't remember that as
The
much
band
for
is
the
on
call.
the field. The band is on the field.
Great clip.
I do love how they put a little slight towards modern Olympics there at the end. With Kurt Russell's like, yeah, well, after us, they started using dream teams, and now you don't get to dream anymore. And I was like, damn, all right.
I mean, it's kind of fair. USA basketball is the Russian Olympics of the Russian hockey teams of the late 70s. Like, when you have the best players in the world and you get like 12 of them that are just like, hey, here's a bunch of NBA Hall of Fame guys. Good luck, everyone else. Like, come on.
When you invent the sport and then dominate it for
Yeah. Yeah.
since its invention, it's really hard. You guys should play this game we made. It's called basketball. Also, here's the best players to ever do it.
Yeah. Hey, you should check out this Michael Jordan guy. He's really good at this sport we came up with. Wow, he's phenomenal. Yeah, you're going to play him at the Olympics next week. Wait, what?
Man, I love Kurt Russell. He's just such
He's
a good
so
actor.
great in this movie.
Yeah.
He really makes you like, I don't know, like you don't necessarily hate him, but you kind of like loathe him like, especially when it's like the again. Sure, they were like talking about girls the whole game and tied or whatever, but geez, dude, like calm down. And everyone's sort of against him until is it Rizzo? It's like
Mike
I play
Eruzione.
for America.
Yeah, Mike Eruzione. I play for the United States of America.
I even get chills when you losers say it.
This movie has just some of those moments where you're just like, you get caught up in it. Yeah, it is kind of crazy to get some of those moments and be like, man, because I don't really think of an Olympic moment that kind of has happened like that.
No.
I feel like most of the times that like since I've been, able to kind of follow the Olympics, like it was either sports no one cared about or it was just stuff US dominated. Like, oh, Michael Phelps dominating. Like, it's not like a challenge. It's not like he has any real competition. He's just destroying everyone. USA basketball. Oh, they're just literally walking through. Carmelo Anthony just dropped 85 points on,
Argentina.
Name some Eastern Bloc European country. Like, okay, cool.
The Eastern Bloc ones are the ones you got to watch out for.
Well, it's because
No,
they
it's
play dirty.
France and Spain.
I guess now that the ball kids are out of Latvia, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, the Latvians though, man, grown ass men who just like ripping cigs on the sidelines and just hard fouling.
It's bad when you got to tell the basketball team at the Olympics you can't smoke in here.
They don't put benches next to the or ashtrays next to the benches. I guess either way works, but
Pass me the ball. All right.
I mean, I guess the closest thing would be like when the gymnastics had like the Fab Five.
But even then, like I feel like they were talked about as being a team that was going to dominate. But the U.S., like this hockey team was just straight up like, these guys got dusted in the last Olympics. They lost 15-0 to a B squad.
I have a fun fact. One of my good friends growing up, his uncle was on that team
Nice.
and was almost on this team.
Was he Cox? What was his first name?
Was he Ralph Cox?
Doback.
Ralph. Yeah.
Like I said, he was on the 76 team, so you have no idea who he is.
Yeah.
Bob Dobek.
The other thing about this movie, or I mean, not the movie, but like the game, is all the political, global things that were happening at that time that made it bigger than hockey.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's funny. The Soviet Union, they were the baddies when this event took place. And kind of when we watched it, too, right? They're kind of back to being the bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that.
We've come full circle.
Where do we broadcast this?
Not in Russia.
So-
How far do the
maybe
AM
not after
radio
this.
waves make it?
I will say I was looking at ESPN 30 for 30 docs, and I saw there's one that's called Of Miracles in Men, and it's about this game, but it's from the Russian perspective.
Yeah, it covers the
I
Soviet
haven't
side of
watched
things.
I haven't watched it, but it sounds super interesting.
Yeah, they try to brush off the United States as like it wasn't even they don't view it as like a U.S. triumph. The doc focuses on like a Soviet Union collapse. They're like, oh, the government was
Makes sense.
weakening. This team was the lifeblood of the country, and they were just too old. And like, yeah, okay, they were old. They were like 30-year-old hockey players. I mean, it's not old for hockey players,
Yeah.
especially when you're playing 18-year-olds.
Also, they had just dusted the NHL All-Star team.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Do you think it changes too if they don't pull their fucking goalie?
Yeah, don't pull like possibly the greatest goalie of all time out of the net. Yeah, that would definitely help.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. And then didn't like go for the strategic like 6v5 at the end of the game.
Yeah, you gotta go for the 6v5.
Gotta
Pull
pull
that
that
extra
goalie.
man. Get him out there.
So obviously, a couple of the guys on that squad went on to play in the NHL. Did you know Mike Eruzione played minor league hockey? He played in the minors, namely
As
for the Toledo Gold Diggers at the time.
excuse me.
If you go to the Huntington Center where the Toledo Walleye now play, you can get like vintage jerseys with Eruzione on it.
Wow.
Pretty fun little fact. Yeah, if you lived in the Toledo area back in the day, you might have seen Mike Eruzione playing for your semi-pro team.
The Toledo Gold
your minor.
Diggers.
Yes, before it
Jesus
was
Christ.
used for a different thing. But
They find a lot of gold in
So-
Toledo?
I don't know. I'm kind of curious as to why they were called
Feels
that.
like a San Francisco type of thing.
Maybe they moved. Maybe it was a team that moved from somewhere. Oh,
Are you realizing that it's goal diggers,
Yes.
not gold
yeah,
diggers?
yeah. The Gold Diggers. Well, most of the time that you hear it said, you don't really think of it that way. And then they later became the Kansas City Blades. Played at the old
Kansas City
sports
Shivs.
arena. Classic.
Yeah, I saw like one of the guys was like an assistant for the Minnesota Wild, and like some of the guys actually went to the league. But I wonder, like, I guess if you were just good, you would go to the league and you wouldn't be able to participate in the Olympics. Is that the thing?
Yeah,
And these were
'cause
just
you
kind of
were-
like the
you were technically a
leftovers
professional.
/ the young guys.
Yeah, you weren't back then. You weren't
Yeah.
allowed to send professional hockey players to the Olympics.
Yeah. Well, what was the
Well, the Russians were.
Oh yeah, the Russians
Right.
for sure were.
O'Callahan and was it Rizzo? Like at the beginning, we're talking about like, oh, is so and so here? No, why not? I'll give you 30,000 guesses.
30,000 reasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one guy who had a hell of a run. Ken Moore was the defenseman for the team. Like 4 or 5 months after the Miracle on Ice, he won the Stanley Cup with the Islanders.
Damn.
Oh, so Mike Eruzione played the 2 years. He played 2 seasons before joining the U.S. national team. So he played in Toledo before joining the national team, and then after they won the gold, he stopped playing. Mike
I like that
Eruzione,
Ben's
I
got
don't
his
think ever
Toledo
played.
Walleye shirt on right now. I saw.
Oh
it.
shit, he does. His
The
Toledo
Batman.
Gold Digger shirt.
It's my Batman walleye shirt.
Oh shit.
Did you wear it especially for this event, or was it just a...
Happy coincidence. I wore it while I was in Toledo to see Batman.
You went to Toledo to see Batman.
Well, that's not the
think
reason
he
I
was
went to
in
Toledo.
Toledo.
I was in Toledo
watched Batman.
and then went to see Batman.
Normally, I just get the hell out of Toledo and Ohio as fast as possible, but you stuck around for an extra 3 hours. I guess that's like your motherland.
I don't know. So the movie is definitely... It's definitely like a little like America boner, like propaganda.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Good.
like at like I don't know, not necessarily like a moving part of the movie, but like kind of like an emotional part of the movie. They're literally like showing all these scenes next to like a Jimmy Carter speech, and I'm just, I'm just like, all right, cool, thanks for this. Or
Could
like
we
the
pick a
beginning
more
of the movie is-
enthusiastic president to put this next to?
or like all the movie, like the beginning of the movie is like, here's all the stuff that happened in the 70s.
They gotta get
We
you
went to
caught.
Vietnam and
Man, people are gonna appreciate that in
Watergate.
10 years. Kids watching that today are gonna be like, oh shit, that was what happened in the 70s. Alright, I'm ready for the movie. Let's go. You gotta explain the Cold War to people. They don't get it. High gas prices, lines. People don't understand what that's like.
true. They don't understand what that's like right now.
The line for gas at Costco today was out into the street.
I went yesterday and it was absolutely nuts.
What was the price?
I don't know.
I paid $3.49 at Costco yesterday, and coming back from Toledo today, I passed somewhere that was $4.20 or something, like $4.21. It was nuts.
It's that damn
That's what I
Keystone
Makes me
Light.
appreciate that I work from home.
Paid $4.30 today, and that's not even the most expensive in the city. Somebody said it was like almost $5 where they live. But I will say, through the propaganda and the American boner,
It's just what happened. It's not propaganda. All this is factual.
there's some really great lines and quotes, and I love a good like cheesy sports quote that just kind of like fires you up like a coach speech. I mean, I would say most sports fans have to.
Yeah.
Like you go to a Michigan game and it's all the fucking the team, and even here, it's whatever. They don't do that anymore, I guess maybe.
Yeah.
No, you're right. This movie has some of the best, especially coach speeches of all time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The name on the front is a hell
It's a hell of a lot more important than the name on the back.
than the name on the back.
Is that what you want,
Keep that
Coach?
for your
You want
head.
me to take your test? No, I want the guy who was in the net who wouldn't take the test. Oh. Got him.
There's that one, or he's like, I forget what he calls him. Essentially, calls him like a pussy. I forget what he calls him. The one guy who has like the contusion on his upper leg. And he's like, I want a hockey player, and he's like, I am a hockey player.
McClanahan's like, his knee is completely screwed up, and he's like, oh, you want to sit out? I thought that's fine. You know what? Get me a hockey player. I am a hockey player. And then
You want me to play on one leg?
player?
Fine, I'll play on one leg. That'll get him going.
he just walks out and mumbles
Yeah,
to
don't
himself.
worry. I'll clean up.
Yeah, that'll get him going. Walks out of the room. Just like, yeah, there we go. I feel so bad for Ralph Cox. What a good dude.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, such a good guy. And then it's like, so O'Callahan hurts his leg and is like, yeah, you're not going to be able to play. Instead of calling Ralph back and being like, hey, we could use you on the team. He's just like, no, I'll keep the space for the injured guy.
Who was the guy that they brought up? The ringer. They brought him up
Tim
and pissed off the team.
Hare or whatever.
That
Tim.
dude led the country in goals that year. Like across leagues, led the country in goals.
And then got sent back off the team because the
Should've
team
fucking
didn't want him.
kept him.
I know,
Because-
it might have worked. Russia that.
Rizzo's just like, you want me to say I'm scared? Fine. I'm scared I'm going to get cut. And you probably should be. This dude's better than you.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
This guy's the best player in the world right now.
They literally
At
just
least
cut
the
Connor
US.
McDavid.
Like some of the other ones are like, if we play them 10 times, they might win 9, but not this game. Tonight, we're the greatest hockey team in the world.
Chills.
This game gets you fired up. Or this movie. This movie gets you fired up.
Even when they're just watching film and Herb is like, that's the goalie, Tridiak. If you score a goal on him, keep the puck. It doesn't happen often. They set up these guys as like exactly what they were. They were the greatest team for like 20 straight years.
Yeah, they're like mythological beings.
Russian hockey players, they are good at doing that hockey.
They do
as a
that
resident
hockey.
Detroiter, they are good at
They are
hockey.
bred to be good at hockey. The conehead bit was funny. Is that like what they were actually called in real life?
Yeah,
Yes.
the cone headline.
Yeah.
Because
Just
the bit was
goons.
just so funny when they bring them in. They're like, "Oh, like you guys are doing pretty well together." Yeah, we just always seem to find each other on the the other end of the ice. It's
Yeah.
going well. Yeah. Oh, pass, shoot, score.
Pass.
Shoot.
Oh, no one kept going? Fuck you guys.
It's like it reminds me of the like Letterkenny, like some of the early stuff they did where it was like the hockey interviews. They're like,
Yeah.
it didn't go that well tonight. What went wrong? Oh, we just didn't put enough pucks in the basket. We really gotta play it down behind the net better. We gotta win those board battles. Just most random and like vague answers ever.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you win? Well, we didn't score more points.
What else do you want? I love when these guys get interviewed. They play 60 minutes of hockey, and they always pull like some of my favorite all-time interviews are they pull Pavel Datsyuk over and interview him after the third period, and he's completely out of breath, and he's been in the country for 20 years, and he doesn't speak a single word of English, and they interview him after every single home game. I loved that growing up. He has nothing to say because he's fucking exhausted, and he just would not learn English.
Blake Griffin did a good, he was on, I want to say he was on Fallon one time. It was like, no, sports reporters make us out to be complete morons. So imagine you've just, I think he made Jimmy Fallon, get down and do 20 jumping jacks and then 20 push-ups and then something else. And I'm like, okay, you're all out of breath? Okay, now let me ask you the most random fucking questions that don't make sense so that you're completely confused and then you try to answer it. It's like, you gotta feel kind of bad. This dude just busted his ass for the past, hour and a half just to lose a heartbreaking game because Steph Curry hit a step-back three out of nowhere because he's one of the best players in the world. And then someone comes up to you and just like, yeah, your team didn't win tonight. What do you have to attribute that to? And you just have to be like, Steph Curry. What? I don't know what else you want me to say. How am I supposed to answer that?
The guys on the other side of the ice are demigods, right? They're like 6'7". They run like 4.240s, and they can shoot a ball into a small hoop from 50 feet away. They're gods, right?
Yeah.
That's why we lost.
Yes.
His warm up routine is literally just shooting half court shots.
His warm-up routine is shooting shots from the fucking tunnel behind the basket. And he hits 90% of them. What are we supposed to do here?
He does remind me of when I would just max out all my players' stats in NBA Live 2005 and just take stupid shots all day.
Mine was when you would just you'd make your create-a player, and all the stats are normally bad, but if you could get a shit ton of points if you made your guy a passer, and then just throw alley-oops. Just keep throwing alley-oop passes until you were really good, and then max out your three-point shooting, and then you just couldn't be stopped. That's Steph Curry. Only after he did the three-point thing, he maxed out all of his other stats.
Is this the greatest sports in a movie of all time? Is there any movie that does sports scenes better than this movie?
It might be up there. The actual play in that they got, and the way that they were able to film the actual action on the ice was really impressive. You don't really get that in a lot of sports movies.
Yeah, and it's edited really well too. The sound design when they're playing, you get all of the ice scraping with the blades. You get the puck noise. You get the so pleasing but horrifying sound of it going off the posts.
Yeah. When you try to go Bardowski.
the camera is in the action, like skating with the guys, and I think that's what really does this movie. Like, it's an intense, like, quick cuts, but when they're driving down the ice on a breakaway, the camera is with the player as he's going. And yeah, I'd say it's one of the best. I'm trying to think. I think there's some good football movies, if I remember correctly, that have some pretty good play.
Yeah, Any Given Sunday isn't too bad. It's got its moments. I feel like Friday Night Lights, the movie, does some pretty good, like, actual, like, going on. Varsity Blues does a really good job too in terms of football movies that, like, kind of do that transition really well into what's going on.
Tropic Thunder is not the movie I was thinking of.
You thinking of Semi-Pro?
Semi-Pro. Flint Tropics.
The Flint Tropics?
Jackie Moon!
It would be kind of be funny if it was called Tropic Thunder. Like,
That's also that just
still
seems
fits,
like
right?
something Will Ferrell would do. Like, oh, this movie just came out called Tropic Thunder. Sweet, let's write this movie about the Flint Tropics and we'll call it Tropic Thunder and just release it.
The Longest Yard, but you know which version I'm talking about.
Also, like, Rudy was pretty good at, like, actual, like, sports play.
Yeah, when they put that guy in there for the second to
One
last play of the
play.
game. Yeah.
That's my thing is I feel like Rudy would be better if Rudy actually
Rudy played football.
He actually got to see more of the on-field stuff, but
If he didn't record
Hey,
3
we
plays
see-
in his career, it'd be a better football movie.
We see plenty of practice action.
Great
Yeah.
Pracky.
solid pracky. Good pracky, bud.
This movie was shot really well. I really enjoyed, especially during games, the way they, like, used reflections
Yeah.
at some points, like, off of the boards. I always thought he was using a clear whiteboard when he was drawing plays until they, like, showed the reverse and it was just the actual boards, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. And then, yeah, like we were talking about, the sports action was awesome to watch. You really kind of feel like you're, like, in it, in the game. It'd be cool if they, like, actually could film sports like that. Like, there's some decent angles in sports, but it's such, like, an outside aspect. Like, it's definitely a spectator view. This kind of felt like you were one of the players.
Yeah, this movie does hockey right. It's even got, like, the
They did that
family
hockey.
lessons stuff, you know? Like, when they get off the bus and they tell her, they're like, we're a family. We're a family.
Yeah. And when that one lady telegrams her, it's like, beat those commie bastards.
That was fantastic.
It's just a hockey game. People need to calm down.
I've got a fun fact for you guys. The game against the Soviets, they filmed it in Vancouver at the PNE Agrodome. That same arena is where Rocky ended the Cold War by beating Ivan Drago in Rocky IV. Filmed it
Damn.
at the same place.
Wow. Well, see, that
You
is
think
a
they
fun
did that
fact.
on purpose?
Oh, for sure. I mean, they had to tee up the battle here. Like, the USA had to show a little bit of an edge over the USSR. And then they sent in Rocky to be like, hey, this Cold War thing is done. It's over. You and me, we're the same. You literally eat Tren for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they hook you up to computers until you can punch through a wall like the Kool-Aid Man, but you and me are the same.
You do that, but I also don't eat or drink anything for hours at a time until I'm about to go on this camera.
That's what I do for the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Now I save it, and that way I can drink copious amounts when I'm here.
I hadn't really seen this film, so I'll give you a fresh rating. But these two, they've seen it. They got some nostalgia. And they're about to give you an updated rating after watching Miracle. Again.
Again.
Yeah, Miracle. I don't know. It is a very good sports movie. Like we talked about, the hockey action, fantastic. It was great. It was really felt like you were in the action. The movie's paced a little odd. I think the runtime's like 2:15. Yeah, I don't know. The pacing just felt weird to me. I don't know what you would, like, take out or add to really, like, tighten it up a little bit more, but it gets your willies moving a little bit, you know. You get that little like patriotism. You get that like kind of touching, at least for somebody who like loves sports and has seen the Miracle on Ice like commentary clips like throughout their entire life. It's one of those moments that you just kind of like, damn, this is such a good sports moment. The like impromptu call and everything is just like, and it's the same with like the World Cup or the Olympics. Like you get that like sense of like pride of your country, even if you're like not quite happy with it. Like you tune into sports or you turn into soccer every 4 years, even if you don't love soccer, just for the World Cup and see your team compete. You know.
You can let the nationalism show a little bit. That's the time to do it.
It's good. Was it like a fantastic movie? No, but like it's solid. It makes you love it, even if you don't love hockey. I think it's worth a viewing, and I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Can I give it a 10 out of 10? You guys let me give it a 10 out of 10?
If you want, go ahead.
That's what I thought coming
Your
in.
review.
I mean, it was like, I don't know. There's movies that you can just throw on whenever, in any occasion, and you just glued and watch it because there's so many good moments. And yeah, there's definitely it's not even an undertone. It is a thick layer of American national pride that if you are like anti-America for plenty of understandable reasons, you're going to be put off by this movie. But if you can take yourself back, like the movie tries to do at the beginning when they show you, hey, here's the 70s, and you put yourself at the time of like the Cold War, and these kids who couldn't make a professional league are going to end up beating like the Soviets, who were on the greatest run of hockey teams, especially in the Olympics of all time. It's like, it's crazy. This, for me at least, this is the greatest sports in a movie. The way that it's shot, this movie just feels like a hockey game at times. And the speeches, every time Kurt Russell opens his mouth, it's like, all right, goosebumps are coming. But I won't give it a 10.
Worse or better than Independence Day?
I was gonna ask the same question.
This is Independence Day as a sports movie. That's fantastic. That's exactly what this is. Is it the greatest movie of all time? No. But you know what? It's pretty damn good. 9 out of 10.
Wow.
So going in, I had this movie at an 8 out of 10. After a rewatch, I think in this latest rewatch, there's moments more so that you kind of, it feels like a Disney movie, if that makes sense. Like it has a very similar feeling to like a Remember the Titans or Invincible or any one of those, like a Disney sports movie. But god damn it, does it make you just, it makes you feel so like you want to go play for USA Hockey. Like you want to put on a goddamn hockey jersey and start. I've never fucking skated. This movie I've never ice skated before in my entire life. Every time I watch this movie, I'm like, man, I really need to learn how to ice skate. Every fucking time. That's what this movie does. Is it a perfect movie? No. Like Zach said, is this a movie that I think at any point you could just turn on? Yeah, I think this is a movie that you could just have on repeat and like, whether you're paying attention or not, you would not care. Like, if you're watching it, great. If you just have it on in the background, like, and you just kind of check in every once in a while, every time you look up, you're seeing something that I feel like captures you in some way or another. It's a great sports movie. I think the product of a great sports movie is when you get that feeling that like you want to go do whatever sport it is that they're doing in the movie. When they make you feel like you want to be a part of that, I feel like then they've done their job. Rocky, you here gonna fly now? And you're like, yeah, let's work a bag. Like, I'm amped. Like, let's fucking do this shit. You finish Miracle and you're like, let's go lace up the skates. Let's go do that hockey. This movie, it's solid. Kurt Russell is phenomenal. Yes, it's very America propaganda-y. It was also made in 2004, so they were probably doing production during, like, 2003. So, like, let's be honest. It's pro-America because America was just going into another war. So, yeah.
Technically not a war.
Okay, whatever. Sorry. The war on terror, not a real war, but
We were
realistic.
invading another country.
But
We were delivering freedom.
yeah, knock knock. Who's there? Freedom.
It's Cheney and his big bag of freedom.
But yeah, I mean, that's what this is. This movie was made at a time where Americans needed propaganda or wanted propaganda. Post 9/11 was a weird time, man.
Dog, Americans always want propaganda.
This movie's great. I leave it as an 8 out of 10 just because, like I said, there's moments where it feels very Disney-y. And there's a couple times where you can tell that the actors playing the hockey players are hockey players and they're not really actors. There's just some moments where it's like, yeah, maybe give that another take. And my God, Dylan, if you haven't, when you've edited this by now, dropped in that call, you have to do it. Because if you can listen to that call and not have an America boner, then there's something wrong with you.
Put it at the beginning. Prime everybody for the
Oh, God.
show.
5, 4. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. Oh, gets me every time. Every time. Just gold. If you haven't seen this movie, check it out. If you have seen this movie and it's been a while, watch it again. It's good. That's all I got to say.
Thanks for tuning in once again. And maybe check out Miracle on Disney Plus if you haven't. Hit the show notes below. Click them Drizzly and Casker links. Buy yourself some aviation gin so you can make a miracle on ice. Grab some Surfside sips. Love them glass straws. Check us out next week as we do Moneyball. As always, watch responsibly.